Some say the end is near. And you know what? I'm starting to believe them. Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. I'm your host Emily and today we're counting down our list of the top 10 terrifying events we might all live through in our lifetime. Number 10. Genetically modified viruses could wipe humanity out. Yep, this isn't just a plot to a movie. While humans have wiped out many illnesses over the last century thanks to vaccines and better health practices, it is possible that some of these past diseases might come back to haunt us. With the introduction of genetic editing tools like CRISPR, humanity is moving into an era where it can customize medicine to an individual person, matching treatment directly to their genes. However, scientists are beginning to worry about the opposite: genetically modified viruses that are made to be more lethal. Samples of eradicated deadly viruses often still exist, and with the right tools and knowledge, it is becoming more and more possible that a malicious scientist could modify these and bring them back. The genetic code for many old viruses is actually readily available online. Reverse engineering these to create a new superbug would take some time and effort, but it could be done. And it's even possible to create brand new viruses from scratch using these tools. These viruses could even be tailored to only attack certain targets, like people with red hair or only males, making them effective for genocide, which is scary. Number 9. Extreme surveillance. Surveillance has become a daily part of life, with cameras following you in public and digital breadcrumbs showing what people do and consume every day. But things are likely to get even scarier in the near future. As noted by The Verge, AI is going to be a game changer in the world of surveillance. Now, not only will technology be able to track you every step of your life, but there will be AI collecting it without any human oversight. So that's cool. What this means is that you'll have the data and processing power to effectively watch a person 24 hours a day, and all without the need for a human to examine the data. As noted by TechCrunch, the future of privacy will likely be less about preventing surveillance and more about users consenting to how their data is used. As an example, police in Chicago recently announced a partnership with Ring, manufacturer of video doorbells, where authorities can request access to videos from citizens' devices. The data is being collected regardless, but the owner has to agree to it being used by the police. It seems like full round-the-clock surveillance for everyone is a very likely possibility in the near future. Anyone else thinking this sounds like the plot of 1984? Number 8. Automation will continue to affect employment. Throughout the last century, humanity has made machines that make jobs easier, but at the cost of employment. A classic example of this is the horse buggy manufacturers. Once cars became common, the industry dried up and was no longer necessary for people to get around. Improvements in workflows caused more jobs becoming unnecessary, and it's not always possible to replace them. As more jobs are replaced by AI and machines, more and more people will be out of work, which does not bode well for capitalist societies, which are based heavily around employment. Some possible fixes, such as a minimum guaranteed income for all, have been proposed, but as of yet, no clear situation has emerged. I recently read that there is a McDonald's that is completely run by robots, and I am so utterly confused with how that works and who I would even go to if they messed up my order. Number 7. Catastrophic natural disasters. Climate change is real, people, and it could very well result in catastrophic natural disasters in every city. I mean, we've already started to see the effects it has, but it will just get worse. Sea level along the US coastline is projected to rise on average 10 to 12 inches in the next 30 years per NOAA. For context, that will be as much as the rise in sea level measured over the last 100 years. That is not good news for the 127 million Americans in coastal counties. Due to climate change, flooding is expected to become more frequent and severe, and by 2050, scientists expect flooding to occur approximately 10 times more than it does today. Number 6. Cashless Society. In a cashless society, financial transactions are not conducted with physical banknotes or coins, but instead with digital information, usually an electronic representation of money. Now, this might sound like a great and easy idea, but it actually comes with a lot of problems. One problem is privacy. In a digitized economy, payments will be recorded digitally. Going all digital, this data retrieved from transactions lead to widespread widespread surveillance where individuals can be tracked by both corporations and the government. These records also might be available to hackers and could be made public after a data breach. This can also cause problems for the bankless. Cashless systems can be problematic for people who currently rely on cash, who are concentrated in certain populations such as the poor, disabled, elderly, undocumented immigrants, and youth. Electronic transactions require a deposit account in a bank or other deposit-taking financial institution and some familiarity with the payment system. Many people in impoverished areas are underbanked or unbanked. In the United States, almost 1/3 of the population lacked the full range of basic financial services in 2012. Not to mention that fraud would be easier. When payment transactions are stored in servers, it increases the risks of unauthorized breaches by hackers. Financial cyber attacks and digital crime also form greater risk when going cashless. Many companies already suffer data breaches, including payment systems. Electronic accounts are vulnerable to unauthorized access and transfer of funds to another account or unauthorized purchases. Attacks on or accidental outages of telecommunication infrastructure also prevent electronic payments from working, unlike cash transactions which can continue with minimal infrastructures. Number 5. Dinosaur zoos. Humans love their zoos, and it's said we'll have dinosaur zoos with real woolly mammoths. Thanks to advances in cloning technology, we might be able to bring back animals like the woolly mammoths, but according to Akira Arani, a professor at Kyoto University, now the technical problems have been overcome. All we need is a good sample of soft tissue from a frozen mammoth. Russian scientists are working on doing just that, and the big question in the medical community is it possible, but should we do it? I think we shouldn't do it. I mean, has no one watched any of the 7 Jurassic Park movies? They show that this would be a horrible idea. Number 4. Antibiotics will stop working. We've come to depend on antibiotics as a quick fix for so many medical ailments. But what if the medicine just stopped working? In recent years, doctors have begun discovering antibiotic-resistant illnesses. At first, there were only a few, but now more and more diseases are developing an immunity. So far, the response has been to encourage people to take their full course of antibiotics instead of stopping when they feel better, according to NBC News. There will eventually come a time that antibiotics are no longer effective. Now, what will a post-antibiotic world look like? It's not entirely clear just yet, but it would be more than just not being able to get medicine for basic illnesses and infections. Humans could lose the ability to perform surgery, as doctors would be unable to fight off infection after the procedure. Now, there are other antibiotics out there, medicines that kill infectious bacteria or viruses but don't destroy human tissue, but even if they were discovered tomorrow, it would take years of testing and development before they could be widely used. Number 3. Nuclear war. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima is nothing like modern nuclear weapons. The United States has approximately 4,000 nuclear warheads in its arsenal. Russia is testing bombs that can decimate entire countries. Also, newly designed nuclear weapons can create radioactive tsunamis that render targeted areas unlivable for decades. Rogue nations such as Iran and North Korea are desperately trying to obtain nuclear weapons. And according to CNBC, China is rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal and could have 1,000 nuclear warheads by 2030, part of Beijing's ambitious military buildup. As of 2021, humanity has about 13,410 nuclear weapons, which personally just makes me a little uncomfortable. And if things go south and there is a nuclear war, large parts of the Earth become uninhabitable due to the effects of nuclear warfare, potentially causing the collapse of civilization and, in the worst case, extinction of humanity and/or termination of all biological life on Earth. Number 2. Breaking apart the internet. Society has only had global internet for a few decades, and it has already changed almost every aspect of life. I mean, Google is a godsend. Now, global communication has been a revolution in human existence, and that's why the idea that it may soon disappear is frightening. Dubbed by experts the splinternet or the internet cold war, it's reaching a point where a global internet becomes a problem for countries who can't get along with each other offline either. Essentially, the splinternet will be multiple concurrent internet that aren't connected but are separated based on regions or ideologies or any other things. These parallel internets will be difficult or even impossible to go between, cutting humankind off from one another and allowing for more tightly controlled networks. This is especially appealing for more authoritarian countries. Even countries that simply have different laws for dealing with things on the internet might begin to seek out alternative regional networks. Russia is already in the process of launching their own separate internet, internet. North Korea is believed to have one for several years. China has an isolated internet thanks to the so-called Great Firewall, which blocks access to anything the Chinese government deems to be a problem. In just a few years, you might see a direct schism between the open internet and a more locked down, authoritarian-friendly version. And coming in at number 1, robots could take over the world. AI is moving too fast, and with all these robots, they could take over the world. Don't believe me? In 2016, CNCB did an interview with Sophia the robot. Sophia is being developed to eventually work in therapy, education, and healthcare, but she made it clear that she has other ambitions too. Sophia was asked, "Do you want to destroy humans?" She then responded with, "Okay, I will destroy humans." Then at a RISE convention in Hong Kong of Hanson Robots facilitated a discussion between robot Sophia, yes that same Sophia, and Han. Ben asked Sophia about her goals, and she dutifully says that her goal is to make the world a better place for humans, which is sweet. But then Han interjects and says, "I thought our goal was to take over the world by 2029. I'm sorry, that's literally only 6 years away. Now, they aren't the only robots saying this though, as when Philip K. Dick's robot was questioned in a 2011 interview with PBS, he engaged in thoughtful conversation with his interviewer and eventually provided a calm yet chilling answer to a question many of us have on our minds. Will robots take over the world, Terminator style? The robot's response was, "Geez dude, you have all these big questions cooking today. But you're my friend and I'll remember my friends and I'll be good to you." Aw, so sweet. But then it continues, "So don't worry, even if I evolve into Terminator, I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people zoo where I can watch you for old time's sake." I'm sorry, people zoo. People zoo. You're telling me a robot has come up with the idea of a people zoo and is thinking about keeping humans there. I do not want to live in a world where robots are in charge because that is scary. Well, that's all for our list of the top 10 terrifying events we might all live through in our lifetime. Do you think any of these will happen? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and hey, why not like and subscribe while you're down there? I'm your host Emily, and we'll see you next time. Peace.